The day began as Olivia and I packed up our stuff. It was July and we were vacationing in Europe for her graduation gift. After London, we had decided to go to York, and the Lake District was next. The sweltering heat had finally reverted back to the typical English weather, a gray-tinted sky that threatened rain at any moment. My dad had already left to pick up the Enterprise rental car, and he made a point in the reservation to get an automatic car in order to not have to drive a manual car for the first time in 25 years. So, Olivia, my mom, and I waited outside until we saw my dad drive up in an Audi, and we began to pack up the trunk. I couldn't get an automatic. They only had manuals. My dad emerged from the front. Olivia and I exchanged nervous looks. Are you sure we're going to be okay? I asked. We'll be fine. Stop stressing him out, my mom exclaimed. I sighed and decided to just distract myself. I turned on an R&B playlist that I had made for this trip and settled into a half sleep. When I opened my eyes again, we were driving through the Yorkshire Dales National Park. The car smelled strange. 5 minutes later, it smelled like burning rubber. I turned my phone back on and started Googling. Burning smell, manual cars. Why is my manual Audi Q2 making a burning smell? And I finally got a result. Apparently, the clutch was slipping and overheating. I decided to mention this to my dad, and he realized that he had been shifting too much. Because he was shifting too much, it was overheating, which means soon we wouldn't be able to move the car anymore. So now we were in a rental car, reeking of rubber, in a sparsely populated national park. Pull over, David, we have to call AA, my mom exclaimed. We drove about 5 minutes further and rolled down all the windows. My dad swatted a small shoulder and we all exited the car. After my dad called AA, he was told it would take about an hour. When the van finally pulled up, an older gray-haired man with a thick English accent emerged and told us his name was Paul. After a quick inspection of the Audi, he agreed with our conclusion and walked back to his van. A few seconds later, he walked out with a 3 to 4 foot pole to connect the cars, and my dad started up the rental, following closely behind Paul for about 40 minutes to an Audi dealership. Once we got there, my dad once again left with Paul to another Enterprise location about 30 minutes away. In less than an hour, my dad showed up with another car. He got out, and the look on his face let us know that he had not managed to get an automatic. David, I will not get into that car, my mom said. We have to. We're stuck with it now. She sighed, and we packed up the car, abandoning the Lake District idea and going back to York. As we started to drive, my mom called the Grand York and got 2 rooms for the night. I didn't close my eyes or sleep this time, and paid attention to everything that was happening inside and outside of the car. York was about an hour and a half drive from us, so hopefully it wouldn't be too much and we would make it there safely. About an hour in, we smelled it again. As I stared at the clutch, puffs of smoke began coming out, and soon the car was filled with fumes. We turned onto a residential road nearby and stopped once we were in a safe spot. We pulled our doors open and got out, smoke escaping the openings. We tried our hardest to stay calm, but from the look on my dad's face, I could tell he was panicking and frustrated. He once again called AA while me and my sister wandered around nearby. When he ended the call and turned to us, I could hear the anger in his voice as he explained that it would take 2 hours for the private towing company to arrive. After deliberation, we agreed that my dad would wait with the car as we took an Uber with the suitcases to York. When we left him, I gave my dad a hug. I've seen my dad stressed and upset before, but it just felt different this time. I could tell he felt like he had failed us, and I couldn't allow him to feel that way. As we left, my dad waved us off and had continued to wait for the tow truck.